Hey guys, my name is Vic and welcome back to another Kdenlive 2020 tutorial. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Proxy Clips. But before we do that, I just wanted to go over my system because I feel like this is important because everyone runs a different system, and so everyone's experience with Kdenlive, crashes here and there is going to be different from what I experience. So I'm sorry, but I may not always be able to help when people have questions about crashing and all that kind of stuff. So as for me, I'm running Pop! OS, which is a Linux distribution. I have an old i7 processor and an Nvidia graphics card. I also have an SSD, which is going to help with reading and writing the video files. As for Kdenlive, I am running, have a look, version 20.08.1, which at the time of recording is the most current version of Kdenlive. So let's go ahead and talk about Proxy Clips. So Proxy Clips are basically a local copy of your raw video file into the video editor's cache folder. So the video editor will make a copy of it, and instead of manipulating your original raw file, it's trying to manipulate the locally cached version. Now, I'm not exactly sure technically how that makes things faster, but it does, okay? So that's my limited technical knowledge. But the easiest way to start using Proxy Clips is you just go to Settings and configure Kdenlive. We'll go down into Proxy Clips, and then we check this box. Okay, so I've got it checked at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to uncheck it. And I'm going to demonstrate to you one of the biggest advantages of working with Proxy Clips. So I know it behaves a little bit funny when I turn that setting on and off. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close out of Kdenlive and I'm going to relaunch it. So I've got a new window here. We'll check it again. Settings, configure Kdenlive, Proxy Clips. Okay, that's turned off. All right, so let's add a video file. So I've just got a random video here. Let's pick this one. I'll add that in. Gonna ask me to change my profile, which is fine. I'll just cancel that. It's set to 1080p, 24 frames per second, which is fine. And I'm gonna drag this in here because it has sound. So when I do the scrubbing, it's gonna be a bit annoying because it's gonna scrub the audio as well. So this is the original file, no Proxy Clips. Okay, so notice when I do my scrubbing, yeah, it's a little bit janky, you know. So it needs some time to catch up. So see my cursor here. So if I move it quickly, see, it takes time to catch up. So it's not as smooth as you would like. The way I tried to alleviate that before was to bump the preview scaling down. Let's bump it down to the lowest, 270p. So you see it gets a bit grainy, but even then, it's still needs time to catch up. So not the best experience, you know. And with scrubbing, it's really important if you're working with longer clips because there might be something, there might be an action or a shot that you're looking for that you want to include in that clip. So let's go ahead and delete that. And let's turn on Proxy Clips. So we'll enable this, and you might have to check both of these here. So check this box and check this box. You might have a setting that's automatic and that might be the default for you, but for this demonstration I'm actually going to force it to use X264, which means it's going to use the processor rather than the graphics card to do the proxy clipping because I want to demonstrate a few things for you. So I'll set it at X264, I'll click apply. Now it should be good, right? Now you might have this problem, same problem that I have. So if I've already enabled it there. If I try to turn it on by right clicking, I want to turn on the proxy clip, it's off. so it's grayed out. So you're not the only one that struggles with Kdenlive, I do too. So the way to solve that is just to close out, and then we're going to restart it. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but closing and restarting will help. So before we add that in, we're going to double check settings, configure Kdenlive, Proxy Clips, it's on. So that's good, we're good to go. Okay, we'll bring this back in. And you notice now that there's a little P symbol. So that means it's your proxy clip. And you'll also notice that the resolution has been bumped down, because what it does is it copies a lower resolution copy of your video file onto a cache folder. So let's have a look at what that does for our scrubbing. Again, this has sound, so it's going to get annoying. So I'm just going to delete that. And let's scrub through here. And that's a much smoother experience. And look, you sacrifice one thing for another, right? So, you know, it's gonna be a lower resolution, even though I've bumped it back to 1:1. You know, it's a lower resolution because it's a lower resolution copy of your video file, but your scrubbing is a lot smoother. So I find that this is a big time saver for me, because sometimes I'm working with longer clips and I'm looking for something in a clip. So that's really good. So now we can turn this on and off. So say you want to view the actual clip. So you can just right click and turn this off. So now it will get rid of that P. So now we're looking at the actual clip. So you see here now, when I scrub through my timeline, you see the resolution has improved, but our scrubbing has also slowed down. We'll turn it back on again. There we go. It still hasn't updated, it hasn't refreshed yet, so it looks pretty sharp right now. But as I scrub through, there you go, you see that resolution go down. And that's pretty much it. You can stop right here for the basics of Proxy Clips, but I'm gonna go over a couple more advanced stuff for you. So if you want to stay tuned and listen, interesting stuff, that's cool. If not, I hope you got what you're looking for, and I hope you learned something today. See you next time. Okay, so this is the advanced stuff. Let's do some testing, because I like to tinker around. So we're gonna add, let's see, 3 clips, because I'm trying to demonstrate that there is a limit to the proxy clips here. So let's add 3 and see what happens. Because you might have this issue where you're trying to dump a whole bunch of files and then your computer struggles with proxy clipping. So 3 is fine. It looks like it did the proxy clips for them just fine here. So here's a pretty long video, 20 seconds. So I'll show you what I mean. When you don't want to sit there and trying to play 20 seconds worth trying to find a specific action, you can just scrub through and then find something, right? See, that might be the shot that I'm looking for, right when they're about to go swing down. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's fine. So 3 is fine. Let's try to dump everything. So I've got all the rest of my files here, and let's see if it fails. I notice it's already starting to struggle. I don't think I should have done that many. Yep, it's struggling. So there you go. And as you can see here, I have a frequency monitor for my CPU. It's really going through the paces, and it's red. Let's check our system monitor. Okay, so CPU is pegged at 100%, so it's trying, it's crying to do all of that. So from a workflow standpoint, what I usually like to do is I like to add 3 at a time. That way it gives me time to, it gives the computer time to do its processing. And while I've added those next 3, I'm working on the previous 3 clips, if that makes sense. So that would be my suggestion. But so far, it's doing the job, no problem. There's no limit. So you could basically just dump all of your clips into the project bin, and the computer will do all the processing for you. We'll let that go through. You can show you here, you've got 38 jobs. We're just going to cancel all of our jobs. Cancel everything. So no proxy clips for you. Because Kdenlive is actually saving a copy of your video file, you'll notice that you're going to start to run out of the space pretty quick. So how do you manage those files? Where do you find them and how do you delete them? Ever since Kdenlive 20.08, they've added a new feature where you can manage the cache data. So you just go to Project Settings, and then you go to Cache Data. Now here we can see that we've got about 380 MB of proxy clips, so they can add up really quickly. Got some audio thumbnails, some video thumbnails, and we've got the total here for your cache data. It also tells you where it's stored, and it's pretty easy. So say you're done with your project, you can delete your proxy clips. It's gonna ask you if you want to delete it, and don't be afraid if you delete it, because Kdenlive will automatically regenerate the proxy clips for you if you're going to reopen your folder, your project I mean. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to delete all of that, press OK. It should have deleted everything, and now it's trying to reprocess everything again. So it's trying to redo it. So the best way to do that might be to go to your settings, you turn off the proxy clips, and then you can delete your cache data. So again, I'm just going to cancel all these jobs because my computer, look at this, it's red, it's starting to struggle. Cancel all jobs. There we go. Oh yes, and before I forget, if you know, we talked about managing the cache data on an individual project basis. You can actually also manage the total cache data in Kdenlive. So you go to Settings, Manage Data. You can see your current project, and you can also go to All Projects. So for me, it looks like I've got a bit of cleaning up to do. So 2.7 gigs in my proxy data. So that's how you can clean this up. You've got some backup data here as well. Cleanup will delete data older than 6 months, so that's a pretty good setting. We can change that to 5, 4, 3. So depends, up to you. So there you go. That's just a last thing. We're gonna move on. So I actually have a graphics card. So I want to be using my graphics card for proxy clipping rather than using my CPU, because I need my CPU to do other things, right? So I need it to do my actual video editing. So how we can set up Kdenlive to use your GPU if you have a graphics card is to go to Settings, Configure Kdenlive, go to Proxy Clips, and then we are going to change this to, it was from X264, which is our CPU, into X264 Nvenc. If you have a Nvidia graphics card, I have an Nvidia graphics card, so this is what we were going to be using. If you have an AMD graphics card, you're going to use the VAAPI. Now you'll notice there's 2 extra ones here. I've added these 2 as an experiment, and we can talk about that a little bit later, but for now I'm just going to stick with the standard Nvenc. This is a default function. It should be. Kdenlive should have recognized that you have a graphics card. So I'll click on that, click OK, and let's try to add our clips. So let's add this one. Happened pretty quick, so that's cool. Now there is a limit to Nvenc, so this is kind of what I'm trying to demonstrate right now. So we'll add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll show you the limit. I'm not sure if everyone has the same limit as I do. There we go. But I'm limited to adding 3 at a time. So the Pro is the Nvenc or the GPU proxy clipping is a lot quicker, but the con is that if you add more than 3, then you're gonna get errors like this. So it just says that no Nvenc devices are found. So the graphics card might be limiting it to a load of just 3. So that might be a hardware issue, driver issue, I'm not exactly sure. So the way to get around that is to just add 3 at a time, or if you're happy to just do a dump and then individually clicking and then clicking the proxy clips, that's fine too. So it'll redo that. But that 3, for me anyway, is a very hard limit. So I can't get around it. So adding 3, no problem. 1, 2, 3, bang, bang, bang. Oh, it even failed. Yeah, so sometimes it even fails. So again, you know, it's up to you. For my workflow anyway, I try to add 3 at a time, so 3 clips at a time, while I'm working on the previous clips. So while I add these to my timeline, I will add the next 3. So while I'm working, my GPU is actually processing the next proxy clips. So that's the way around it. Anyway, we're gonna dig a little bit deeper this time. So we'll go into settings again, configure Kdenlive, and we're going to proxy clips, and let's look at the default profile parameters. So my guess is it's scaling our videos to 640p. Now I wanted to see if I can improve that a little bit, change it to 720 for example, so that when I am previewing it, let's preview this. When I'm previewing it, it doesn't look too low resolution. Like this actually looks fine. But you know, if you can get a little bit out of it, you know, why not, right? So I tried to do that. So I tried to do configure Kdenlive, and then going to configure profile. I want to go into X264 Nvenc, and then I can do add a new profile. So I can add it, I can set a new profile name, and what I tried to do was add this, bump this up to 720p. Now I've already done this, so you know, you can do this the first time. You can click the profile name and save. Okay, but I already did this. So I already saved one as 1080 and one as 720. Now what I've noticed, so let's click on 720 here. Click apply. Let's go ahead and close this out. Okay, we're back here. So just gonna check our settings again. Proxy clips, okay, Nvenc at 720p. So let's see. Add that in. Boom, there we go. Let's check the quality. Change this to 1:1. And let's see, it's still grainy, it's still hazy. It still pretty much looks like the 640p resolution if you ask me. You know, but it was worth a shot. I don't think it actually made a difference. It could have improved it a little bit. But the way to actually see if it really improved it that much is to actually do a 1:1. So I've made this setting the 1080p since my videos are in 1080p. Again, this is just experimentation, okay? This is not necessary, but if you're a geek like me, you know, like you're gonna like this. So I did Nvenc, right? And I changed this setting, NPP 640, into NPP 1080 and saved it as Nvenc 1080 profile. So now my goal was to get some sort of you know, high resolution 1:1 fast scrubbing situation in Kdenlive, and let's see if we can actually achieve that. So there we go, we've set it at 1080. I've clicked apply already to make 100% sure. I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna restart Kdenlive. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pick a file that I've not added before. So let's pick one of these, because it might have already saved these previous files here into the cache folder. So I'm going to pick one which has a different file name in a different folder. There, it's done it. So let's see. Drag this in. And we'll bump this up to 1:1. And we can still see that it is still grainy. Let's increase this window. See, still have that low resolution. So even though I changed it, I think there might be a setting there that doesn't allow me to do it. You know, so that's it. So anyway, what we've talked about, setting 720p, 1080p, actually pretty useless. So just stick with X264 Nvenc, or if you have AMD card, X264 VA API. So you should be fine. And that's pretty much it for Kdenlive proxy tutorials. So I hope you had fun. I geeked out a little bit there. I'm sorry, kept it a bit long, but there you go. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.